96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock the other day on Netflix, I watched a movie with you, Robin, and it was a Nicolas Cage movie. Some of you may have seen it.
The Family Man.
The Family Man, yes. And so I won't give anything away because it's like 100 years old, I guess. But anyway, so he starts out as a rich guy, and then some angel or something turns his life around, and he sees what his life would have been had he gotten married instead of went on his path looking for riches. So he goes from being a rich guy to being a suburban father with a wife and, two children?
2 children.
I think? And so the whole message of the movie, if there was one, was that, there's more than one kind of wealth. There's the wealth of being a happy family, and there's the wealth of having money and fancy cars. And of course, I'm the first. I'm not the latter. I don't have fancy cars. But I've had this beautiful experience in life of being a happy parent, and it is truly something that if you get a chance to talk to God after you die, it's the one thing I'm going to thank him. I don't know if he'll see me, but I'm going to say thank you for that. It's truly a gift. We have on the phone Alyssa Marquess. She is the founder of Bounce Back Parenting. The book came out today, and it's already number 67 in family activities on Amazon. I don't know how that happens. It's just amazing when a good book is out there, how people find it like instantly. This is a field guide, according to the literature, a field guide for creating connection, not perfection. Oh, I love that. All right, let's find out what Alyssa has to say. Good morning, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
How's the weather out there? My brother lives out there. How's the weather?
It's absolutely stunning right now. Yeah. We're in the mountains at 7,000 feet, and it's sunshiny and beautiful.
Oh, my
Marvelous.
gosh. That's a beautiful place. Well, now I'm jealous. Usually I like to make our guests feel jealous of us because we're in Florida, but I think
it'd be tough for me.
Yeah. So Bounce Back, are you a mom?
I sure am. I've got 3 kids.
Wow. So what do you mean by bounce back parenting? What does that mean?
I thought before I had kids that parenting was going to be easy. I was really excited to be a mom, and I am still excited to be a mom, but it certainly has not been just so easy all the time. I discovered that parenting is the place where I have to practice resilience so much in my life, learning how to bounce back from challenges, learning how to gain strength from struggles rather than have them make me feel like a failure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I feel what you're saying. My son is 31. How old are your children, Robin? 30?
38 and 40.
So you can tell we're up there. But you know what? When I see my nieces and nephews with their little children, because my own son doesn't have any children, but when I see their little children, I'm like living vicariously through them. I remember that. And do you know what I wish I'd written down? Some of the cute little things that were said out of innocence. You forget everything.
So cute.
And one really wonderful thing that you're bringing out in the book is the communication between the parent and the child, because sometimes things go on in a child's life. The parent wants to ask them about it, and then the child will say, well, there's nothing wrong. But you give us the dialogue in the book to make the child open up and not feel like they're going to be yelled at or threatened.
Really?
I think first, just setting the stage for that openness starts with listening to the little things, to the boring stuff, to the never-ending description of the Lego creation they've made. That kind of listening sets the stage for openness during more difficult times. And one of the things that I like, if there's been a mistake or my child's done something that they need to learn from, I think of the 3 questions, which are really simple. I think your listeners can remember them, and it's what happened, why do you think it happened, and what will you do in the future?
That's great. I love that.
So
Oh,
it
wow.
invites that conversation a little bit. If you can keep the judgment out of it, of what happened, and then help them process through that problem solving, they may be able to learn from something that could have just been a blow up and a frustrating anger time, and instead it can be a learning time.
Every day I picked my son up from school. Every day I'd say to him, "What'd you learn today?" Every day he said, nothing. On the day he graduated, I said, "How did you graduate? You never learned anything."
Yeah, he graduated with high honors
Yeah.
and summa cum laude from college.
That's right, he did. Yeah, he knew I was proud of him. But it is funny, right? When you ask a kid, "What'd you learn today?" Nothing. and then they graduate. So.
You know what? The fun conversation starter I came up with recently, because I've tried the "What'd you learn today" too. The other day I asked, "What did you practice today?"
Oh.
That was that got some interesting, different
That is
answers.
different. What did they say? What was the answer?
One of them, my daughter's learning to read, so she said we practiced reading, and then my son, I think he had practiced drawing, and he was like, also, I practice not talking as much because he has a tendency to that, just like his mom.
That's kind of cute. Oh, that's cute. I love that.
You also talk about the self. You have to pay attention to self to be able to raise your children.
Yeah, self-care is part of the process, and kids take an enormous amount of ourselves pouring into them. Of course, it's critical to put their needs first many times. However, if you burn yourself out, you can't take care of them. And I had to come to a truce with guilt and realize sometimes I'm going to feel guilty about taking care of myself, but I can still take care of myself. I might feel guilt and still know that I need the basics like food, water, and conversation with friends.
No, my gosh. You know what? You just gave us an idea. We should do like a Mother's Day that, mom can share it with dad. It's like a package. Here's something to treat yourself because you need it. Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
You just gave us a good idea for
Work on that.
a contest.
You also talk about response time, because sometimes when I get angry and if something happens, I'll snap right away, and I don't tend to think it through. But you really discourage that and encourage people, the parents, to think their reaction through.
And I think really, like, let's make it even simpler than thinking the reaction through. It's pausing, just slowing down just a little bit, because when you get angry, you're in a kind of like a hyperdrive state. You're not at all even able to access your thinking. So before trying to think things through, it's just slowing down and giving yourself time to pause. And that is a practice. It takes time to slow down. Of course, it takes time. It takes time to get in the habit of not jumping in right away. But one of the things that I do, I give myself 17 seconds. It's a weird number, but that'll make you remember it.
And that's what's really great. But that's really what's great about your book is that you're actually living this advice and your insights. You're just not someone that had kids ages ago and or
Like us.
a babysitter. You really are the here and now with your book.
Yeah, I'm not so much the expert. I'm the guinea pig, writing about my experiences.
That's a great quote for your next book. I'm not so much the expert on the
Yeah, and I
Great
think
title.
I think Robin pointed something out that's really probably true. The world has changed so much, so that any advice books that might be out there from, like, what was the guy's name, Dr. Spock or something?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
was that the guy from Star Trek?
No, Dr. Spock is
Right.
is the doctor. Mr. Spock is a Star Trek guy.
So what I mean is, I don't know. I mean, it seems like maybe times have changed, and maybe so therefore has parenting, right?
I think the biggest thing that we face in parenting right now is such a deluge of information. I think our core relationships with our children haven't changed. Connection is still a priority. Relationship, communication, all of these things have not actually changed. But we live in a space where you're supposed to get the answer to anything immediately.
I know.
And sometimes it's like it can make us forget that parenting is not a box you can check to get right. There's more than one answer.
So as an author, do you also engage your children in reading? Do you have lots of little children's books, those kind of beautiful, colorful
Oh my gosh.
books?
We're total readers around here. Yeah. So what I'm loving right now that's so fun with my tweens, so now I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and now they're starting to read books that I can read too, and being able to discuss them with them, have them go, oh, Mama, you got to read this. It's so fun.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You have a beautiful life, Alyssa. Thank you for sharing it with us and for giving us some information. I have a copy of the book, Bounce Back Parenting, a field guide for creating connection, not perfection. And the website is bouncebackparenting.com, correct?
It is.
So call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. That's what I want to say. The rest of us have to go buy it. It starts today, and it's already climbing the charts. It's amazing. It's on Amazon and anywhere books are sold. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Get equipped for anything with a John Deere 3025E compact tractor from AgPro. It's equipped with a low price of $139 per month, and we've got all the attachments